Hi everybody and happy new moon in Capricorn. So today I'm just doing a little new moon in Capricorn video. This is to encourage you to set some intentions for the new lunar cycle that we are just going to enter into. It is the 30th of December 2024 and we are just on the very edge of jumping into 2025 on the good old Gregory calendar. Okay, that's the Gregorian calendar, but hey. So, whilst I don't hold to the Gregorian calendar, generally speaking, in my ways of making plans and arrangements, it's kind of amazing that this new moon, the first new moon after the winter solstice, falls so close to the end of the Gregorian year of 2024. So it's kind of feels kind of nice that I can do this and start these new intentions for 2025 in that way with a new video on the 30th. And interestingly, today is my youngest daughter's 10th birthday. So that's like, fits in with the whole new moon energy. So new moon energy is all about beginnings. Capricorn is about beginnings and endings. And I talk a little bit about why I work with the lunar cycle or follow the lunar cycle, in how I tend to operate and like live my life more following the lunar cycle as opposed to following a calendar or like the Gregorian calendar. And yeah, why I've been doing that for a few years now. I've just been burning some old journals, and it's actually a lot longer than I think it is. I started using a moon journal, and I don't particularly use a moon journal now, but I follow. I'm always aware of what phase of the moon we're in. So, yeah, I thought I would start with some ideas around why I follow the lunar cycle and why I'm here doing this video now with the new moon in Capricorn and setting some little nice intentions for for the year ahead and for the next lunar cycle and the next 6 months as well, because this is the new moon in Capricorn and the full moon in Capricorn is like 6 months time, and there's also setting intentions for like when we finish the Capricorn cycle coming out with the full moon in Capricorn. Basically the intentions that you set now with the new moon in Capricorn might not manifest in the next or be something that you want to work towards just in the next lunar cycle, but in the next 6 months. And interestingly, I've started a 6-month process called Rest, Surrender, Trust, which I started on the solstice. The first module has landed yesterday in the end, because we did a live, because it's my daughter's birthday today, we did the live thingy yesterday. So I launched the first masterclass module chapter thing yesterday, or the 29th. Yeah. To be in full transparency, it's not quite the 30th. I'm making this just before the 30th because because I don't want to be making it on the 30th because it's my daughter's birthday on the 30th. So yeah, just to like messing with my own head with time and stuff. But hey, time is not really linear anyway. So, but anyway, back to the new moon. So I talk a lot in things that I do about following natural rhythms and cycles as opposed to constrictive, limiting, controlling, systemic days and times. Again, time is not what we've been taught it is anyway. So it's a number of years ago, before I began holistic therapy as for my livelihood, I'd began to notice that there were times and ways where we were better adapted to natural rhythms as opposed to thank you. By following natural rhythms and cycles from the earth, from the planet, from the energy of the stars and cosmos, if you want, that we naturally function better. And one of the first things that I realised was that we did tend to, as a family, go more inward in the winter. And I actually think it was when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter 10 years ago, when I realised that that wasn't just the first year where we'd gone quite insular in the winter. And then the following couple of winters, I began to spot this pattern of as the nights got darker, we went in more, we were less likely to go out through, like, from about November to February, we would like stay in the house as much as we possibly could. And I then began to look at natural rhythms and cycles more for us. And, you know, looking back at our ancestors, they wouldn't have been out hunting in the in the dark, basically. So there's this, because of electric lights, because of the way that society has us on this treadmill of how we operate and have to live by time, basically, you know, the clock, the time, if it's not, like, it starts from a really early age with school, of like what time we've got to be in school and what time we finish school and our classes and our structure and schedule. And I actually like schedule and structure. I'm not opposed to schedule and structure, even though I'm an unschooling mum of 3. I'm not opposed to having routines and structures and practices and rituals. I love it. I love that side of things. But I think that they're different for everybody, and they're much more, we live our lives in much more alignment when we're following the natural cycles of the planet. And one of those natural cycles is the lunar cycle. And for many generations, the new moon was a time to go in the dark again, be within, and look at what was falling away, what was no longer serving us, and set some new intentions and think up and make some new plans, I guess, for the next month, the next lunar cycle, and also the next 6 months. So I have some notes. So the new moon is all about beginnings and self-work, well-being, stability are things that the new moon has connection to, that also connect in with Capricorn. So Capricorn is all about, it is connected to beginnings, it's connected to development and the self-responsibility and patience and things like that. These are things to keep in mind when setting your intentions during the new moon in Capricorn. So for me, and the reason why I'm making this video for the new moon in Capricorn, is I've been in the last quarter of 2024, last half maybe of 2024, maybe the last 2 or 3 years of life, finding that's how I operate on social media. It doesn't sit well with me. I love creating video content. During 2020 and 2021, I shied away from making video content. I, for various reasons we won't go into now, found my thoughts, feelings and beliefs in 2020 didn't align with the vast majority, and I was discouraged, I guess, from how I was received even by people who I knew really well during 2020 and 2021. And I was just finding my feet. I set up what was Davina Holistic Health in 2020. I set it up in 2020, just before the world halted, and it kind of impacted how I'd began to show up through the end of 2019 and on into the start of 2020, because I was carried on showing up that way, and I was hit with this wall of resistance from people who didn't necessarily align with my thoughts, feelings and beliefs on what was going on in the world. And I was still learning and learning about myself and about my gifts as an intuitive and an energy healer, and I fell away from, because I'm not a huge massive fan of Meta, Facebook at all, and censorship, and I'm not a huge fan of Google. Hi YouTube, I love you. I'm not a huge fan of Google. I'm not a huge fan of mega corporations. I am an indie lover. I'm if you can support local enterprises, local creatives, local artists, local businesses, shops, whatever, do that. I'm not mega corporations. So, but that being said, any links that you see down there that are for Amazon are my affiliate links, because that is what it is. And YouTube is an incredible platform. I love YouTube, genuinely. I love content on YouTube. I love consuming the content of YouTube. I love everything that you can learn on YouTube. I have spent recent days being inspired by people taking on massive renovation projects of chateaus in France and such, because we've got to find a new home, and we're not opposed to renovating something massive if that was what it came to. And if we could buy a falling down house for £1 and set up a tent in the garden, we'd do that. So that is kind of where we're going, and I love YouTube content from that. I also love it from a holistic therapy standpoint, for somewhere that you can get free content as an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I like to watch the empowering ex-Jehovah's Witness channels that share the how we're healing from that. So here I am on YouTube creating video content again. I also am a massive fan of intuitive readers, oracle, tarot readers, astrologers on YouTube as well. They're they're where you'll find me hanging out on YouTube. And I have began to remember in the latter quarter of 2024 that I love creating videos, and I love video content. I love talking to the camera, and incidentally being taught public speaking taught me well for doing that. And I'm also thinking of creating, I want to create a couple of podcasts. I would like to create, I have a desire to create a couple of podcasts over the course of years. If I had a 5-year plan, that'd be my 5-year plan type of thing. But also, as I'm creating SoundCloud audio clips for my Restorator Trust process, I also created a little wealth chant for a wealth membership that I'm a member of. And I was I need to create some little audio clips as well. So watch this space for all of this. This is my 2025, and this is my intentions for 2025, declared here to the camera, to YouTube, to you all, to anyone who watches this anywhere. This is my intention for 2025, is to create something, is new beginnings, because that is the energy of 2025 generally, is transformation and new beginnings, and really watching the old crumble away just in case you didn't know, we're entering the age of Aquarius, and it's a slow process. It's like a couple of 100 years process, isn't it? So we're not there now yet. It's a process of leaving behind the age of Pisces to go into the age of Aquarius, and this is where we are right now. And with that, I think new beginnings, changes. I cut my hair. Anyone who doesn't know, there might be a post on Instagram by the time you see this, but I cut 10.5 inches off my hair just before I went live for the first Rest, Surrender, Trust call on the solstice. I cut my hair on the solstice because that's a new year marker for certain traditions. The solstice, or winter solstice, is one new year marker. There are many new year markers around the world at different times. Obviously, most people are familiar with the Chinese New Year being in February. That's very different to the Gregory New Year. Within the like different traditions around the world, New Year can be seen to start with the zodiac cycle of Aries in April, or with the winter solstice, with the dark night, the turning point in the years. And I think within Celtic tradition, it's seen to be at Samhain. And you know, I am in England. I have Scandinavian blood and Welsh blood, and somewhere in the mix there, somewhere in there is one of the new. So right, New Year, as I like to mark each different one. And on the solstice, I chopped 10.5 inches off my hair and feel very, very different because of it. And whilst exploring a lot of the rest of stuff that's going on externally with getting a house cleared out and looking at getting rid of shit in my house that's not aligned with whatever it is that we're creating together as a family, I guess the next level Ketson family, then yeah, it's all part of this letting go and creating something new. And as much as I'd like to be in my therapy room to create these videos, I'm not there till the 4th of January. I didn't want to wait until like the 5th of January or whatever to put my first videos up on YouTube. I want to create these videos. Now, what my videos are going to be about that I'm going to be putting on the old tube of you could be anything. And it's going to be very much in the moment. And again, I'm looking at, like, I get so many ideas. I'm so inspired all the time by like the thoughts in my head, the wisdom, the inspiration, the constant connection to source I have of like messages that would be really inspiring to people. I voice note messages all the time to put into written posts, and don't ever get a chance to put them in a written post, and that's time consuming, and I've got to find a photograph to put with it, and it's all like so low. So there will be spoken content, maybe go on here on YouTube with a little like image display or background image of some sort that one of my amazing magical daughters can create for me, or SoundCloud, where I am, before the podcast goes up, where I feel called to share maybe some little voice clips on SoundCloud publicly. You can access SoundCloud without an account. You might need to get an account, like, I can't remember because I also have an account, but I'm sure when I first started listening on SoundCloud to content created by people whose services I was using, I didn't need an account to log in to listen to a voice note memo. And voice noting is what I do when I've got my one-to-one, like highest level clients. And even when I'm sending distance healing messages to people. I voice note my experiences from distance healing because it's much easier for me to vocalize my experiences than to write out. Like, you can say a lot more in 30 seconds than you can write in 30 seconds. So yeah. So that is my intentions for 2025. I am making these intentions here now with this new moon in Capricorn for I guess for really feeling and leaning into those new beginnings. And in 6 months, when we have the full moon in Capricorn, I hold the vision of being in a different, probably still be in my bedroom, but in a different house, having a new home, and having maintained some level of consistency with the old YouTube creation. I do have a massive amount of old videos which I may do some intro to, and some, well, I did this in the past, where because there's gold in what I've shared and what I've created in the past, but it's either on Facebook on my closed down old Davina Ketson Holistic Health page, or my archived Facebook group, or BitChute, where I was trying to create and build an audience back in 2021 when I didn't want to have anything to do with YouTube. So here we are now. So there's lots of that content that I think I would like to add some extra bits to. Camera quality is not great on them, but there's gold in the material, and I think that is some of the plans for 2025. So there you go. Set some intentions. It's about beginnings. Capricorn is about beginnings, and it's about development and change and doing that like inner development, self-development. So see what you can create. I'd love to know what your intentions are for the new year. And hey, you know what? I am way more into intentions than I am into resolutions. I think if you set intentions, you are much more likely to fulfill. It's also like there are 12, 13 new moons in a year that you can set intentions for. Whereas we all know that when resolutions are set for January the 1st, most people haven't actually stuck to them by February the 1st. That's how soon people's resolutions, New Year resolutions, are dropped. And that's not because people fail at their resolutions. It's because, first of all, they're setting them in the wrong energy of January the 1st. It's off. Whatever you look at, whatever way you look at it, the energy of January the 1st as a new beginning space is off, unless it happens to be a new moon. And because people aren't doing it with that deep intention. It's often about withholding something from yourself, feeling guilty because you're smoking or you're drinking or you're eating too much, whatever. When we put that energy into our intentions, when we put the dense emotion into our intentions, that's when we don't manage to keep on with them. So when we set intentions, we set it for the highest good. So we're not setting intentions of like, oh my god, I shouldn't be drinking this, and I shouldn't be smoking, and I shouldn't be eating so much McDonald's. I don't know why I said McDonald's, because I saw an advert earlier on about McDonald's, an advert that Burger King had McDonald's ban. I don't know why I think McDonald's popped in my head. I don't eat McDonald's, but I do eat a lot of cake and a lot of ice cream, which sometimes I know doesn't serve me very well, because both wheat and dairy don't serve me very well, and I when we set intentions and we go in for the highest good, then we often stick to those. And because we're like setting intentions on a month by month rolling basis, it can be like, well, okay, that intention is not working for me. What do I need to change about it? So there's all of these opportunities to set new intentions throughout the year. And that's why I'm here and doing that and sharing that. And I've done this in the past, but I've not necessarily done it with the reasons that I'm doing this. Like, I've usually been trying to juggle all the things, and I'm really stepping back from Facebook particularly, and potentially Instagram too. Although I actually love Instagram stories, if I get the opportunity to create them, but I often end up bending myself over backwards around Facebook for some reason. I don't even know why. It's not even a place I particularly enjoy being very much anymore at all. It's a dopamine hit. So the intentions are create this beautiful content here for YouTube, maybe to skip the rest of social media, but we'll put that one as a maybe. And the other really deep intention that I've got is to declutter and clear out my house. My light just died on my camera. To actually clear out my house, and I did do a little bit today, of moving things around. I move things around. It does involve a little bit of when I move things around, I clear stuff and things get put into tidier piles, because we have already actually packed quite a lot of stuff, even though we don't even know where we're moving to yet. But yes, and as we move into January, maybe I'll start looking at houses again. So yeah. If you'd like to sign up for Surrender Trust, the link is below. I'd love to see you in there. All the details are on there. There is a Telegram channel where we can chat about your way through the process as well. And you can also find all my services, links to everything down there. And of course, if you like what you listen to, give me a little bit of YouTube love. And I will see you very soon in another